Bhatia.
Hi, my name is Araya Watson,
And
we're here to talk to you about the racial bias in the American criminal justice system. Are you at risk of being incarcerated for more years just based off the color of your skin?
Are you getting leeway because of the color of your skin?
We are going to introduce you to some people that will help you learn more about this topic.
Next up, we have Officer Bhatia and Convict Watson.
Oh,
Did not see you there.
sorry about that.
Well, I'm Officer Bhatia,
And I'm female convict Watson,
and we're here to inform you.
about the racial biases in the American criminal justice system. So, Officer Bhatia, did you know that the U.S. has the largest amount of people incarcerated?
No, I didn't actually.
And actually, the number has quadrupled since 1980, and there has been reported 2.4 million people incarcerated currently today.
Wow, that is just ridiculous.
Yes. But as a woman, I am less likely to be incarcerated than a man. And actually, 1 in 100 women are incarcerated.
Oh, wow. You know, now that I think about it, I actually arrested more men than women this year.
Wow. Statistics. Okay. But as an African American, I am most likely going to be incarcerated longer and with harsher punishments, just based off the color of my skin.
That's crazy.
For instance, Ernest Wilkes, he was an African American male, 24, in Minneapolis, and he rapes a girl, and he was sentenced to 20 years of prison. So Brock Turner, he's a 20-year-old Caucasian male, and he attends Stanford University. He also rapes a girl, but he gets sentenced to 6 months of jail based off of him wanting to continue an education.
Well, did you know that 14 million whites have admitted to drug use, while 2.6 million African Americans have? But here's the problem. 12% of drug users are African American. So why do they represent 59% of those in state prisons? And why? Why are African Americans having to endure the same time in jail as someone who committed a violent offense for a drug offense?
Wow. And that leads me to my next point of there are actually more African Americans under correctional suspension than there are African Americans that were enslaved in 1850.
Don't touch me.
Oh, we're recording.
Just have the discussion going on here.
Yeah. Well, I'm Mel Convict Watson.
And you already know me.
So, Officer Bhatia, 90% of the prison population are male. And 1 million of those 2.4 million people incarcerated today are African American men. So why is that you think I did the crime rather than female convict Watson from earlier?
Well, I can't help but judge from the lens of my own experience.
Well, your judgment and your experiences are causing wrongful convictions almost every day. For instance, 70% of the people who are wrongfully convicted are people of color, and 63% of those people are African American. Most of them spend 13.5 years in prison, while 6% of those are sentenced to death row.
In most of the cases that someone was wrongfully convicted, 43% of those is where it was a cross-racial identification, which the victim is a different race than the suspect. And 31% of the people that are wrongfully convicted actually plead guilty, so they themselves do not give themselves the opportunity to prove themselves innocent. So how can you actually say there is a racial bias?
Explain the 385 people that were killed in 2015 by the police.
Well, majority of those people were Caucasian.
Well, 16% of those people were unarmed, and majority of those people were African American.
Well, also, only 3 out of 385 of those cases were charged for.
All I can say is, as an African American male today in society, it's hard because I'm always racially profiled. Like, I can go to the gas station and all I hear is click, click. And that's people locking their doors because they're afraid I'm going to steal something. Or when I walk into the bank to cash a check, people automatically clench their purse because they feel like I'm going to rob them. So that's what's racially biased. And that's how I feel about the American justice system. Okay, we got it.
Wow, that was great.
That was awesome.
You know what? Everyone just give up a hand. Okay, so we're going to have another guest come in and talk to you guys about racial profiling.
Yes, and she's going to talk about how she experiences her racial profiling within the airports. We introduce Natasha. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, sorry, didn't see you there again.
Just normal protocol. Okay, well, we're here to talk to you about racial profiling in the airports.
Yes.
It's a very serious issue, and it can be seen in multiple different perspectives.
Right.
So, many times when a Muslim with a particular name goes to an airport, they will be detained because of their culture and their name, because people suspect them as a potential terrorist. So, this can make traveling very
Inconvenient.
Thank you.
As an enforcer of the TSA policies, it is my job to make sure that anybody on the no-fly list cannot fly. They automatically have to be through security, and we scan them, and maybe it takes about 2 or 3 hours for them to be cleared in order to fly.
Yes, and I understand these policies because you cannot see from your eyes which person is good and which person is bad. And I have some personal experiences, like with my brother-in-law. When we went to Mexico, he got stuck there because of his name, and he was detained for actually a whole day. He had to stay there. And then he got stuck on his way back from his honeymoon with my sister because, again, his name. So now he has to take certain precautions before he goes to the airport and to secure that nothing is wrong and to inform everyone so they do not stop him again. Policy is for protection, but it can also be an inconvenience. So how can we stop this racial bias?